have the chance to see you for the first time in Athens. What's the thing that still keeps you on the road after all these years? It's almost 3 decades.
Well, I think just the need to make this music, you know, I mean, if we didn't have this positive outlet for all these intense emotions and feelings that come out through it, I can't imagine how it would wreak havoc on our lives and cause a lot of chaos for us, you know. So really this is our way of staying sane, is making this music together.
Are there any things that keep you away from road, from touring and all this stuff?
Touring is what we do for fun. On the side, we don't make a living from music. This isn't our job. This is our passion. We all have jobs. We all have families. And many of us have children. And that helps keep life balanced, you know. I mean, this is what we do for our souls. This is what we do, like I said, to stay sane, you know. We feel really lucky to have been able to find this music. It's very special music for us. It's our brotherhood is very special, and the fact that we've been the lucky ones who have found a way to channel this sound, you know, out of the universe, and so we treat it with a lot of respect. You know, you wouldn't want to disrespect it by treating it like a product or, you know, work.
Were there any nights in studio or maybe on tour? You said that you make this for fun, but were there any nights that you were thinking, why am I doing this?
No.
Having doubts about it?
The only thing we ever doubted was there was a time maybe in the late 90s where we were considering trying to make it what we would do full time, you know, as a job as well as our passion. And we found ourselves in some situations where we never wondered why we were doing this, but we wondered why we were, you know, why we were in a certain place or playing a certain concert or with a certain band, or, you know, having certain conversations about things that we thought had nothing to do with our music, you know.
I always thought that your music is like maybe a dark trip inside the human psychology or something, maybe like one of Bergman's films, I could say. Is it hard is it stressful repeating this trip every night just to do justice to the songs?
You know, I think it just comes natural. I think the secret is to surrender to the spirit of the music, and as long as we totally give in and we totally surrender, then it drives us, and we don't have to really worry about it. You know, it moves us, it tells us what it wants, it demands it. That's also how we choose which songs to play. You know, they have to feel pure and they have to feel right. We don't play songs because people want to hear them. We don't play songs because there are some popular song by fans or whatever. We play what feels right and what feels good, you know. And a lot of times that what feels best is usually the newest material, you know, because it's fresh, it's more, and we feel that we keep getting better each time we get together to make this new sounds. We get closer and closer and closer to the true spirit of what Neurosis is supposed to be. So,
from Pain of Mind to honor-founded Decay, have you ever realized your influence over the modern extreme music?
You know, we get asked that a lot, and that comes up in conversation. It's hard for us to see it because we're in the middle of it. We know how important this music is to us. I mean, you know, to us this is everything. You know, this is our entire adult lives. I mean, we started this band, we're all teenagers, you know, and had a vision to do something greater than we were capable of, and it just has kept evolving and I think stayed very inspiring to us. But it's very personal music. It's very self-centered. This is really, we make it for ourselves. We don't care what anybody else thinks at all. And so the fact that anybody else likes it at all is kind of amazing. You know, it's not easy music. It's not nice music. It's but you know, over time, I guess, you know, we can see that there is an influence there, and I hope, you know, we have those bands that influenced us, the ones that made us want to pick up guitars, the ones that made us want to not just start a band, but find something that's original, emotional, intense, honest. And that's what the bands that we loved, you know, did. They all seemed to come out of nowhere and create their whole own thing, regardless of what was happening around them. So if we're going to inspire other people, I hope it would be, you know, to find their own voice, to find their own way of expressing themselves in the truest and most pure manner possible with their art or music or whatever it is.
Do you believe that releasing your last two albums through your own label ensured your artistic freedom?
Yeah, I mean, we've been lucky. We've always been on independent labels, so nobody ever told us what to do. We never felt that we had to change any of our music for any of the record labels we were on, but it is a natural extension of where we come from in the DIY, you know, punk movement of the 80s. It just comes full circle to think, okay, we should just be creating our own home for our own music. You know, sort of like you would buy the art from the craftsperson, you know, you go directly to the artist for the art. And after we had been doing our music for a while, we realized that we had enough friends to help us figure out how to do it, you know, and had seen enough stuff work that we could start our own small independent label, and it's still going, thank goodness. And we've managed to also help other people out, put out other people's music, and hopefully help them out the same way other people helped us out when we were younger.
I think Scott, in the past interview, stated that Neurosis is the kind of band that demands an extreme amount of practicing. How is it possible then to perform like you do? It's more about maybe the mental state of the band, less about the technical state.
Yeah, I think definitely more about the amount of which we're willing to surrender ourselves to the music. We don't practice, really, almost never. The only times we've seen each other since Honor Found and Decay was recorded has been to play shows. And, you know, so if we lived closer, we would, but we don't, you know. I mean, for us to be in the same place, we have to get on an airplane, you know. We don't have a lot of time together because of our jobs and our families and other commitments. So over the last couple years since Honor Found and Decay came out, we definitely spent a lot more time playing concerts than we have in the past, I don't know, 10 years. We played quite a few more.
Next one is, how did you decide to leave behind your stage visuals? Was it about moving the center of gravity from the background to the front or something like this?
It's more intellectual than I would say it.
Okay.
Really, to be honest, I mean, we just weren't feeling it.
Okay,
you know,
okay.
we'd been doing it since the early 90s, and it seemed very unique when there weren't many bands that did it in the early 90s. You know, there wasn't video projectors. Everything was film, slides. You know, we were borrowing ideas from the 60s, you know, like the psychedelic era stuff. Not as far as material, but technique. And from the kind of art damaged industrial warehouse kind of art scene, and taking a lot of these ideas and putting it together into a really fucked up collage and mirroring the world back at itself, you know, like here's this fucked up world we're in. And it evolved from there and became a little bit cleaner and a little bit more artistic, and we did move the jump to video in about the year 2000. Is that right? Yeah, about 2000. We jumped into video with Josh Graham, our last visual artist, and he helped us get into the video era, I think, with a lot of class, and it was very, very different, very clean. But then the world keeps changing. I mean, when we started it, people didn't have computers in the home. People didn't have cell phones. There were no iPads, iPods, any of this stuff. And so even just since the year 2000, the amount of things people are plugged into with pictures is constant. I mean, we're always completely bombarded with visual media. So it started to feel that we just didn't need to be a part of that anymore. You know, we didn't need one more screen. So we'll just let the music speak for itself for right now.
I always wanted to ask you this one. How do you come up with the idea of a tribute to Townes Van Sant? Has folk music played its part in Neurosis music too?
Well, I think we all kind of, everybody involved in those projects came to Townes Van Sant in their own kind of unique way. I mean, Scott and I are obsessed with music in general, and we listen to a lot of folk music or country music, or again, just looking for those people that are truly inspired and doing something unique and personal and emotional. So we each came to his music in our own way, I think. But the idea for a record actually came from our friend Ansgar from Germany, who's a brother of ours and you know, books our shows here. We've worked with for years, and he wanted to start a record label based around putting out those things. And we released it in America, and he released it in Europe. But it was just to kind of, I think, to introduce Townes Van Sant to an unlikely audience, and the unlikely audience is heavy music fans, you know, because most people don't cross over into the country or folk music very far. So,
I see. The future for Neurosis, is there a possibility to hear a new album maybe in the future?
Oh, there will be a new album, and we haven't worked on it yet, because like I said, the only times we've seen each other since Honor Found and Decay came out is here at concerts, you know. But we are starting to feel the energy building, and so it's going to be time to work on it soon, I think. We have no idea how long it takes, we have no pressure, we have nobody telling us when to do it, so it'll happen when it happens. But
we hope as sooner as possible, but it's just on you this one.
Thank you for your time. We're very excited to be here in Athens for the first time, and we hope we destroy this place tonight. This is Steve Von Til from Neurosis, and you're watching Bunt GR.